What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and you're here for your free picks for the MLS on Saturday, April 6th. Well, guys, another Saturday, another big slate of the MLS games. This time, 13 games are on the schedule. There are no early games this Saturday. All of them are at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time or later than that. And it's going to be quite an entertaining evening in the MLS. For more free picks, of course, and the parlay of the day, go up to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel. You can find that soccer playlist, and you can check the latest video for all of the European games. There's a bunch of free picks there, including the parlay of the day. For my best bets, you can click the link in the description. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. Have in mind, guys, that those long-term passes could come handy because we are getting the Champions League and the Europa League back next week, so there will be a lot of midweek games as well. Like I said, guys, 13 games on the schedule. We have some derbies going on. We have Vancouver versus Toronto. We have LAFC and Galaxy facing off. And like I said, it's gonna be an entertaining evening in the MLS. So we are gonna kick it off with Columbus versus DC United. Uh, Two teams that have been solid so far this season. Columbus hasn't won any of their last two games. They played in the CONCACAF Carabao Cup earlier this week. They got a 1-1 draw against Tigres. While DC United is coming off of a 1-0 win against Montreal, and they have been quite solid when it comes to scoring goals this season, but they have also been conceding a lot of goals. Now, on top of that, DC United is missing like 6 or 7 players because of the injuries, and I mean, Columbus is also missing a couple of players, and I think that's what's going to give us an open game here where both teams will try to get a win out of. And with that in mind, I'm going to go with both teams to score at minus 161. I honestly am not willing to push this to over 2.5 because I could see a 1-1 draw between these two teams, but I don't see either of them keeping a clean sheet. So both teams to score. Cincinnati is hosting Red Bulls, and these two teams have been in quite a good form. Two of the probably most consistent teams so far this season. Cincinnati very solid defensively. They are not scoring a lot of goals overall. Uh, New York Red Bulls are scoring a lot of goals, but they have been quite solid when it comes to defending. And I think this is going to be a very competitive game. It's going to be a very hard game, at least in the first half. And with that in mind, guys, I'm going to go with the first half draw at plus 102. Inter Miami is hosting Colorado, and Inter is coming off of a loss against Monterrey 2-1, and that was after they conceded a red card in the second half. They conceded 2 goals as well. They ended up losing that game, and they haven't beaten anyone in their last 3 games right now. Now, as of this moment, Messi is still listed as injured. I'm not sure that's going to change before the kickoff time, so they will probably be without him for this game as well. But they still have enough firepower with Suarez, Busquets, Alba as well, and a bunch of other young and talented players. Colorado, they have beaten LAFC 3-2, which was actually quite a surprising thing. I believe they were losing in that game, but ended up scoring, I think, a couple of goals in the last 10 or 15 minutes of a game. But I think that Inter Miami is due for a nice breakout performance. I think that they are due for a win. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen against Colorado at home. So I know that Inter Miami on the money line at minus 110 is an excellent price to take, but I'm going to push this one even further than that. I'm going to take Inter Miami to win and over 2.5 goals at plus 170. They can't keep a clean sheet right now, but they can outscore any team in the MLS and Colorado included. So Inter to win and over 2.5 goals at plus 170. New England is hosting Charlotte in another matchup in the MLS, and New England is also one of those teams that are due for a nice performance. They haven't won any of their last 5 games, while Charlotte hasn't won any of their last 3 games against New England. If New England is going to bounce back anytime soon, it's going to be at home, and it's going to be in this game because they have always beaten Charlotte at home. And Charlotte, let's be honest, is not that good of a defensive team when playing on the road. Uh, with all that in mind, guys, I still think that Charlotte could score a goal here against this very sloppy New England team. So instead of choosing the sides, I'm going to go with both teams to score at minus 143. NYC and Atlanta are facing off in New York, and I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. We have seen a lot of overs and a lot of both teams to score in this game, and I think this is going to be one of those games as well. NYC hasn't lost to Atlanta in any of their last five home games, and they have been incredibly sloppy defensively this season. They are scoring goals consistently, yes, but they can't defend. And Atlanta is a goal scoring machine right now. Atlanta has scored 9 goals so far this season, and they are yet to score on the road. And if that's going to happen, it's going to be against NYC, who are one of the probably one of the worst defensive teams in the league. So, with all that in mind, both teams to score in over 2.5 at plus 112. That's going to be my pick for this one. Like I said, guys, we have a Canadian derby. Vancouver is hosting Toronto. And I think this is going to be a very good game as well. Toronto is coming off of a loss against Kansas, and they lost it at home 3-1. And they do lack some serious firepower right now without Lorenzo Insigne, who is injured and will be out of the lineup for this game as well. Overall, it was a decent start to the season for Toronto, and their main goal for it is to get to the playoff spot and stay there and get into the playoffs. But Vancouver has, I would say, higher ambitions, and they feel like they are a high quality team that could definitely compete for the title. And I agree. I think that they're a great team. I think that they do lack some consistency on the defensive end, but once they get going, they're very very hard to uh, they are very hard to stop. Now, when playing at home, Vancouver hasn't lost to Toronto in any of their last 5 games. And if I'm being honest, I am leaning towards Vancouver in this game as well. But I decided to go with quarters in this one. I'm going to take over 9.5 quarters combined. It's at minus 120. I'm aware that Vancouver will probably have to get 6 or 7 quarters of their own in this game for this pick to hit, but I don't think that should be a problem because they will be dominating in this game. They will have the majority possession and they will have the most chances created. But then again, I think that Toronto is definitely capable of creating something in the attacking end as well. So over 9.5 quarters at minus 120. Now we are up to that LA derby between LAFC and Galaxy, which should also be a highly entertaining game. But I don't know where the books are coming off to be putting LAFC at such a high regard at minus 118 against the team who hasn't lost a game so far this season. Yes, you heard that right. LA Galaxy hasn't lost a game in the MLS so far this season. They are scoring a lot of goals. Yes, defensively they are a mess, but luckily for them, they can outscore anyone in the league, and LAFC included. LAFC who dropped points against Colorado last week. They did get a win against Nashville at home a couple of weeks ago, 5-0, but overall, they have been very sloppy and they haven't been performing at their best in these early stages. Neither team has the many injuries. They're missing a player or two. But like I said, I think this is going to be a competitive game. I think it's going to be a fun one, as they usually are. And I think we're going to see some goals in this one. And they will probably start early. So I'm going to go with over 1.5 goals in the first half at plus 118. Austin is hosting San Jose, and I'm gonna keep this one very, very simple, guys. Austin has beaten Dallas 2-1 in that Texas Derby last week, and now that they finally got a taste of win, I think that they will get another one. On top of that, San Jose is missing still 7 or 8 players because of the injuries. They have a lot of depth problems, and because of that, I'm gonna take Austin on the money line at home at plus 115. Chicago and Houston is the next matchup we have in the MLS, and I think this was going to be a fairly even one. Houston on a 3-game winning streak. They have kept a couple of clean sheets during that streak. They're coming off of a 2-1 win against San Jose, while Chicago on the other side, bad on the road. I would say very solid at home. I think that they potentially see this game as a chance for them to get a win, and it's not going to be an easy one, but I think they could do it. Now, Houston hasn't lost any of the last 4 games. They are on a nice winning streak, like I said. They will certainly be a huge threat to Chicago here. And with that in mind, I'm going to go with both teams to score rather than the sides. Uh, I frankly don't see either side keeping a clean sheet, but I think that both teams will go for it in the attacking end. So both teams to score. Minnesota and Salt Lake, is the next matchup in the MLS, and I'm gonna keep this one very, very simple, guys. In this matchup, we have seen a lot of overs, we've seen a few unders as well, but Salt Lake can't keep a clean sheet right now. They're dropping points pretty much all over the place. They're conceding goals, but they're also scoring a lot of goals. Minnesota is pretty much the same. They're coming off of a 2-0 loss against Philadelphia, which I was surprised that they hadn't scored a goal in that game, but I think it's going to come back to them in this one. So I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at minus 143. I'm not even going to try to push it to both teams to score. Might even put it in a double with something else just to get the max value out of it, but I definitely see at least 3 goals in this game. Nashville is hosting Philadelphia in the next matchup, and Philadelphia is a bit of an underdog here, even though they are now on a 2-game winning streak, and they have scored 5 goals in their last 2 games. While Nashville, on the other side, has 1 win. They have 3 draws and 0 losses so far at home this season, and they haven't lost any of their last 8 home games overall. Now, defensively, Nashville tends to be a little bit sloppy. Yes, they have conceded 2 goals at home against Columbus. They conceded 5 goals against LAFC. They've conceded a goal against Charlotte, and they will concede at least a couple against Philadelphia, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Philadelphia team total over 1.5 goals at plus 142. St. Louis and Dallas is another matchup in the MLS, and I'm not gonna even think about this one for much longer, guys. I'm gonna take over 2.5 goals. Dallas finally got a goal against Austin. I think that their time is about to come. I think that they're finally are gonna get a win. Maybe not in this one, maybe in the next one. But St. Louis is actually a perfect team for that because they cannot defend and they are very, very sloppy on the defensive end. I think this is gonna be an all-out open game here, guys, with a lot of chances and a lot of goals. And with that in mind, over 2.5 goals at minus 128. And the last pick of this MLS video is on the West Coast between Seattle and Montreal. Seattle hasn't won any of their last 8 games. Yes, they haven't won a single game so far this season. They are incredibly bad on both ends, but that has to come to an end, right? And Montreal is now on a 2-game losing streak, and if they are not the perfect opponent for Seattle right now, I don't know who is. Montreal is missing a couple of players because of the suspensions. They have a few injuries. This is the third game in a row that Montreal is playing on the road, and I think it's gonna be a third loss in a row. To be honest, I could potentially see Seattle getting a nice win at minus 154, but it's a bit pricey to say the least. And I'm not willing to take that. And this is purely me from a kind of a value standpoint here, guys. These two teams haven't played a draw game in a long time, and with that in mind, I know I said I could see Seattle getting a win here, but I'm gonna take a draw at plus 275. This is the last game of the day. This is gonna be like a half a unit play or something like that. And that's mostly because, like I said, because of the value and because I couldn't make up my mind on what else to take in this one. So I'm just gonna go with the draw at plus 275. That's it, everyone. These were your free picks for the MLS on Saturday. Hope you have a great day, guys. Make sure you click that. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment, and of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.